The hidden war against Captain Traoré, a fight for Africa's soul. What if we told you the mission to eliminate Captain Ibrahim Traoré never ended? That the plan to drag Burkina Faso back under foreign control, back into the grip of those who see Africa as a mere resource bank, is still active, moving silently behind the scenes? It's a chilling thought, but the truth is even more disturbing. Just last week, a video shook the region. A top U.S. AFRICOM general stood before Congress, accusing President Traoré of misusing Burkina Faso's gold, labeling him corrupt and self-serving. A dangerous, calculated claim. Not long after, the same general flew, without fanfare, to Ivory Coast, the very nation now sheltering the traitors who orchestrated a recent failed assassination attempt on Traoré. Coincidence? Unlikely. In a world of silent wars and covert diplomacy, there are no coincidences, only hidden agendas. Since April 16, 2025, when Traoré survived his 20th assassination attempt, Burkina Faso has stood at a historical crossroads. The attack was planned as a massive coordinated assault. Terrorists would strike civilians and the military, while internal traitors aimed to assassinate Traoré and his loyal officers. But thanks to brave soldiers, the plot was exposed and thwarted. The conspirators fled, straight into Ivory Coast. Now, intelligence reports warn that these forces are regrouping, vowing to eliminate Traoré before June 2025. No one knows why June is their deadline, but the urgency is real. Meanwhile, the political theater continues. The U.S. general's accusations weren't just provocative. They were timed to weaken Traoré's legitimacy ahead of the coup attempt. It's a familiar script. Vilify the anti-colonial leader, then move in when he falls. To some, Traoré might look like just another military ruler. But to many Africans, he represents resistance against foreign exploitation, neo-colonial manipulation, and stolen sovereignty. His fight isn't for power. It's for the independence and dignity of a continent still bearing the scars of colonization. Now, with June approaching, the stakes have never been higher. Traoré's enemies are not acting alone. That same U.S. general met with Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara behind closed doors, praising military cooperation while discussing regional security. But official statements don't reveal the full truth. Ouattara, long considered a French ally, has a documented history of using chaos to consolidate power. In 2011, he was accused of arming rebels to secure the presidency, and now he's allegedly helping shelter the enemies of Burkina Faso. Ivory Coast has become the launch pad for destabilizing Burkina Faso. France, still desperate to maintain control in West Africa, is pivoting to new strategies. After being expelled from Mali and Niger, French forces didn't retreat. They adapted. Their old colonial army, the 43rd Bima, was handed over to the Ivorian army. But behind this facade, military agreements from 1961 remain intact, giving France the legal cover to intervene whenever it chooses. France's military influence is simply going underground. No more visible garrisons, just private security firms, embassy operations, and training centers like the so-called counterterrorism school in Jacquesville, Ivory Coast. In reality, it's a covert base to monitor the AES alliance, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, track resistance movements, and curb Russian influence. The West frames its presence as anti-terrorism. But if billions in funding, elite weaponry, and intelligence haven't stopped terrorism, one must ask, is terrorism being fought or used? Evidence increasingly suggests the latter. In reality, the Sahel has become a battlefield not just of weapons, but of influence, where terrorism is a tool, not just an enemy. And it's not just Ivory Coast. In Benin, French troops quietly operate from unmarked bases under the guise of training. After being ousted from neighboring countries, France reestablished itself along key borders, hiding soldiers within local forces, avoiding public backlash while maintaining its grip. Captain Traoré warned the world. He saw the pattern. In his speeches, he exposed how foreign influence is not retreating. It's simply evolving. France and its allies haven't left. They've just changed tactics. From public occupation to silent control. Across Africa, voices like Julius Malima's and the economic freedom fighters have risen to support Traoré, condemning Western interference and reaffirming Africa's right to control its own resources. They declared support not just for a man, but for a movement, for an Africa free from external manipulation. Now, with the countdown to June, the final chapter of this shadow war draws near. But unlike in 1987 or 2011, when leaders like Thomas Sankara and Muammar Gaddafi were eliminated with little resistance, today's world is watching. The internet, social media, and awakened citizens have changed the game. The battle for Africa's future is no longer hidden. It's unfolding in the open. And the world must decide. Will it believe the illusion or confront the truth?